Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Happy Tuesday to all of you, and a quick shout out to my newest patrons, Mark S. and John M. I greatly appreciate your support. So first up today, I found a video of the issue that people are having with the blind spot camera and the light creating a strobe effect, so let's have a look. So of course, this is definitely not ideal, but just to be clear, it seems as though it is somewhat isolated, and this is definitely not a common problem. Speaking of the blind spot camera, Green the Only actually built a prototype to get the blind spot camera on the left 2/3 of the screen directly behind the steering wheel. And I think a lot of people would prefer this, especially with some other information on the right 1/3 that Green said he was possibly working on, compared to the current iteration with the new layout, where, as you will see, the blind spot camera is pretty small and kind of in the middle on this screen. And if Green the Only can pull this off, I would imagine that the Tesla team can as well. RPM's Tesla on YouTube uploaded one of the first videos of the customer reviewed Model X Plaid, so I want to play a quick clip for you, but of course the full video will be linked below.
The big difference in the doors, which is the only thing disappointing to me personally, is that we've lost all the rope lighting. I had pockets at the top before. Actually, here, this is great. So this is a 2020. Look at the differences now in the doors. Simple, they look like the Model S doors. So that's the 2020 right here. So all of this great lighting inside, the extension, the door handle has moved from the actual door itself to down below. And again, the switches are all electronic now, no pulling mechanisms. We simply have the toggle switches on each side. Speakers are pretty much the same. The pockets, possible drink holders or door panels are the same. So again, inside, the lighting, the rope lighting is different. This rope lighting here is gone. So the doors are just simpler. We have the corduroy plaid look. The carbon fiber that wraps all the way around is very beautiful. The ultimate center console design for the best way of sharing space and utilizing it the way you want it. The big difference is the backseat display. So now here we've got everything set up in the rear for the same movies, the same interactions. Hopefully there'll be Bluetooth settings coming so the kids can put on their headsets. We won't have to listen to it in the rear, in the front. But it's great the way the air mixes in the middle. You can control the ventilation. You can split it between your children in the back seat. The air is coming out of both sides.
Elon actually commented on this article talking about how many people would be surprised how fast sustainable energy is growing, and this is specifically in the United States. So this is new power capacity in the USA in megawatts from January to October of this year. It should be noted that the small scale solar is just an estimate and an average based on the SEIA data so far in 2021, so I want to focus mostly on the large solar and wind, clearly leading the way in terms of new power capacity in the United States. Breaking that down a bit further, large-scale solar accounted for 37.2% of that capacity, wind power was another 33.2%, and that small-scale solar was 15.5%, adding in fossil fuel gas accounting for 13.7%. Now look, when we're talking globally, it will still take decades for wind, solar, and these renewables to make up a large portion of the global power capacity. However, this is an encouraging sign as far as trends go for this year. MKBHD shared an anecdotal story from the drive. This Tesla Model S had 424,000 miles on it. Over that time, the one major service needed was a battery replacement that, very importantly, was indeed covered under warranty, so the cost was $0. The original range was 240 miles, and now the current range is roughly 180 to 200, or about a 20 to 25% degradation over the lifespan of this vehicle. So I just think it's important to remind us all that ICE vehicles on average get 200,000, 300,000 miles over the lifetime of the vehicle, maybe. Most likely with a significant amount of maintenance relative to what some Teslas, and by the way, this is not just the only one, there are other stories like this for some of those early Model S vehicles. So something to keep in mind. A few weeks back, we talked about Tesla police vehicles using the lights and having them integrated into the Tesla rather than being on the hood, which will of course reduce drag and all of that. I would play the video, but they already talked about copyright claims in the description, so I just wanted to show you this image. The video will be linked below, but this car does also have a siren. It's basically an unmarked cop car in Northampton, which is over in England. So if you wanted to see this in action with the integrated lights, which are pretty low key, but the siren is definitely loud, go ahead and check it out. Here we have a string of Tesla analyst price target upgrades as we close out Q4. This one coming from global equities research analyst Trip Chowdhury, who said that Tesla's Q4 will be massive. Trip said that shipping activity on Christmas Day was massive, and production, shipping, and delivery activity have really been strong all Q4. Here we have one from Dan Ives, and highlighting a few things, he said that the China story could add $400 per share for Tesla next year, saying the higher customer adoption will accelerate the biggest transformation of the auto industry in 70 years. He noted Elon & Co.'s ability to navigate the chip supply situation better than other competitors, specifically because of their flexibility and ability to write new code for different chips when in a bind. Dan's bull case is now $1,800 per share, and he sees China representing 40% of all Tesla deliveries in 2022. And he's expecting 2022 deliveries to be roughly 1.45 million, but more importantly, he sees potential for Tesla to further expand its auto gross margin and profitability profile over the next 12 to 18 months. Now, I mostly agree with this, but a reminder and a word of caution in terms of margins for next year. Just remember, with Tesla ramping new technologies with new factories, there's going to be some margin pressure for that expansion and that ramp, which happens every time Tesla has a new vehicle ramp. So how much will that hit the bottom line? Only time will tell, because there of course are multiple factors that go into that. Just something to keep in the back of your mind. And one more from Argus. Analyst Bill Selesky raises his Tesla price target to $1,313 per share, up from $1,010. His reasoning? Well, looking to 2022, we expect Tesla to continue to post strong revenue growth, to report lower operating expenses, and to improve automotive gross margins, setting the stage for significant profit acceleration. And he also noted how they think Tesla opening up the supercharging network is a brilliant strategy as a way to bring in new revenue in the years to come. He also noted that he believes Elon is done selling his 10%. Now, a lot of people today, including Gary Black and some others, believe that Elon may have sold some stock today. We'll probably find out by the end of the day if they upload a Form 4. So between 6 and 10 p.m. EST, be on the lookout if you want to know for sure. It might be done today. Tesla Owners Online shared a pro tip. I was able to send 2 addresses to my Tesla via the share option from Google Maps on my phone, and the navigation registered both as waypoints on a single trip in version 11. Here we get some pretty exciting news from NIO, reportedly hiring a local team of experts in the US as the automaker looks to expand its presence outside of China. They're looking to fill around 50 positions in the United States, and some of those positions are on LinkedIn, which include a motion control expert, principal graphic pipeline software engineer, audio systems architect, head of power strategy, head of user infrastructure and construction readiness, safety and standards, and compliance leadership engineer. Simply put, all of the building blocks for the NIO-specific infrastructure to start operating in the United States in the years to come. Most of these new hires will be based in Silicon Valley in San Jose. Now, to temper your expectations for NIO in the States, as you can see, Sweden is really next up on the list for NIO, and they're looking to start selling in Sweden by the end of 2022. So I would not be holding my breath for any NIO deliveries or anything like that in the US until 2023 at the earliest. And a very important note, just to be clear, to my knowledge, NIO has not actually confirmed that they're going to bringing NIO cars to the United States. However, these job postings and hirings would be a good sign that it is coming on the horizon. Sticking with NIO, we get some news about their LiDAR supplier InnoVusion and their initial capacity plans. The NIO ET7 and ET5 sedans that NIO will deliver next year will both be equipped with LiDAR. Now, I've said this before, I'll say it again. We need to remember most of the rest of the industry is still moving forward with LiDAR when it comes to their autonomy strategy. Tesla is kind of playing in the sandbox by itself with vision only, most likely as one of the only companies that have the software engineers and the experience to do vision only. Everyone else is going a different route. So we're going to have to keep up with LiDAR and what's going on, despite most of us Tesla fans believing that the best way forward is indeed vision only. So the Innovision plant, which is in Ningbo, has an initial annual capacity of around 100,000 units. The ET7 is expected to lock in orders in January of next year, and delivery should begin in March. Then later, the ET5 is expected to begin deliveries in September of 2022. These LiDAR units have a maximum detection distance of 500 meters, but to give you some actual context, if you go to Tesla's Autopilot page, you can see the max distance for each camera in meters, and the highest range or distance that we see on here is for the forward-facing camera with a max distance of 250 meters. And just FYI, Innovision was founded in November 2016 and has R&D teams in Silicon Valley, Suzhou, and Shanghai. Now, this right here was a few days ago, but I believe it's been looked over. So Hyundai Motor closes its engine development division, this from the Korea Economic Daily. And this is actually a really big deal because Hyundai Motor Group is South Korea's top automaker. They're going to stop developing new internal combustion engines in order to accelerate the transformation to an EV manufacturer. They closed its engine development division at its R&D center, which had roughly 12,000 researchers. Hyundai's R&D chief said now it's inevitable to convert to electrification. Our own engine development is a great achievement, but we must change the system to create future innovation based on the great asset from the past. So researchers at the engine design unit have moved to the electrification design center, leaving only some to modify existing changes. Simultaneously, it has established a battery development center under the electrification development division to secure advanced battery technology. Now, just a quick note, there have been some reviews on YouTube of the first US deliveries of the Ioniq 5, which have actually gotten really good reviews. People definitely enjoying driving the vehicle, loving the setup. I don't personally love the styling, but that's just my own taste. However, looking past that, it seems like it might be a very solid option. Hyundai and Kia unveiled a target to sell 1.7 million EVs worldwide in 2026. And the company has said the immediate task is to develop innovative vehicles that can dominate the future market. This reorganization will be an important starting point for change ahead in the new year. So I personally was so encouraged by this news. It's great to see a big important company like Hyundai go all in with full BEVs, not toying around with hybrids, not throwing out huge projection figures, just making a change and executing and seemingly doing all the right things. So, well done. We talked about this a few weeks back, but here we get it again with another email from the Ford dealership, and here we have it. If you'd like to be one of the first 25 orders, there will be a $30,000 market adjustment. All other orders will have a $10,000 market adjustment to the MSRP. This means they're going to charge customers an extra $30,000 to be one of the first deliveries, basically capitalizing, preying on their customers because of the demand for the F-150 Lightning. Remember, this vehicle starts at around $40,000, so this almost doubles the cost of the vehicle. We will not be honoring any planned pricing at this time. The additional deposit required is $5,000 and will go towards the purchase of your car. If you choose to cancel or not proceed with your order, the deposit will be forfeited. The only thing that Ford can really do here is, I guess, maybe give less of an allocation to these dealerships that are going to be playing these games, because really ultimately the dealerships have laws in place that protect them and they can kind of set whatever price they want to once again capitalize on the initial demand. So hopefully Ford is aware of this. I'm sure that they are, and like I said, they start giving these dealerships less of the F-150 Lightnings, send them to places where the dealerships will work with people and give you the actual MSRP. Here we have an image of the internet grabbing a Mustang Mach-E battery cost shown with a list price or a cost of $54,685. So what's most likely going on here, if you take a look at Ford's website, the warranty on the Mach-E is going to be 8 years or 100,000 miles, whichever occurs first. And remember that Mach-E deliveries have only recently started, so point here is that they're probably discouraging people from wanting to buy a battery pack for whatever ulterior use someone might have, because they are, of course, battery constrained. So the less battery packs they have, the less cars that they can sell. ultimately the less profit and margin that they can make. So it seems like a way for Ford to disincentivize people from wanting to buy a straight up battery pack. And last up for today, unfortunately, Rivian has announced new delays for certain variants of the R1T. RJ Scaringe has sent out an email to reservation holders. RJ said that in the US and Canada, the large majority of pre-orders have configured with an adventure package and a large pack battery, which is different than their max pack, and that max pack represents around 20% of the pre-order total. So they're going to prioritize building the adventure package with the large battery pack over the next year. Rivian has offered the possibility to reconfigure to an adventure package with a large pack battery, so these people can take delivery in 2022. The max pack configuration is an additional $10,000 offered on the R1T pickup that's supposed to offer over 400 miles of range. But this variant is now being pushed back until 2023. And in early 2022, Rivian will be introducing a new feature on the Rivian account page that will display your current delivery timing estimate to keep everybody in the loop with real-time data of when they can expect delivery. But that is all for today, so please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a great day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.